working night shift, loading freight by the tracks, steel-toed boots and damn lunch pail full of yesterdays and facts. You wore your mama's lace, hand-stitched pearl white seams. Said love is just a road if you fill it up with dreams.
We stood out by the courthouse where the town clock sings. You slipped your fingers through the storm of ordinary things. Preacher's words were brittle as the pages of his book, but your eyes were a meadow, and that's all it took.
Down on Main, the neon blinked like a tired old sign.
We traded rice and laughter for a jug of table wine.
The band in Harlan's Tavern stumbled into silver wings, and I swore I'd keep you safe neath the halo of my sins. They tied tin cans to a rusted Ford, paint chipped and thin. We rattled down forever with a dusting violin.
You said, baby, life's a jukebox, find the song that clings.
I said I'll be your shelter, you said I'll be your springs. But the whiskey wind keeps blowing through the chapel of my bones, and these wedding rings keep shining on a love that lost its home. If I could stitch the sky back up with fiddle sliding strings, I'd calm that whiskey wind with our two wedding rings.
Years turn like a barroom door with a busted hinge. Paychecks thin as paper, promises on the fringe. I learned the weight of quiet when the bills come due. You learn the art of brave with that old pair of shoes.
We danced around the table set with hope and beans.
Counted spare change like we counted country dreams. I'd trace your sleeping silhouette and whisper country hymns while the freight yard coughed up thunder round its rims.
Trouble came one August like a dust devil grin.
Boss man cut the hours, I cut deeper into tin.
I wore a jealous anger like a coat too tight. You wore forgiveness in the warm kitchen light. One night the screen door slapped the dark like a tongue.
We yelled in broken meters, said the words that can't be unsung.
Your tears fell on the floorboards like a broken set of wings.
Mine fell in a bar glass, loud as wedding rings.
But the whiskey wind keeps blowing through the chapel of my bones, and these wedding rings keep shining on a love that lost its home. If I could stitch the sky back up with fiddle sliding strings, I'd calm that whiskey wind with our two wedding rings.
I found your note in the cupboard by the flower tin.
Smelled like ivory soap and the ghost of cinnamon.
It said, I ain't leaving you, I'm leaving what we've been.
Meet me where we started, where the river slips thin. So I pawned my pride for a bouquet and a prayer.
Walked past all the places I'd gone not to care.
Outside the courthouse, dust burns slow and sweet.
You showed up like Sunday in dusty bare feet.
Now the whiskey wind is quiet as the promise that it brings.
And these wedding rings are choirs on a sky of copper wings.
We'll stitch the night together with a fiddle, silver strings, and hush that whiskey wind with our old wedding rings.
Yes, hush that whiskey wind
with our old wedding rings. There's a stack of letters tied and twined, tobacco brown and thin, all stamped from Amarillo with the panhandle wind. You wrote them in a kitchen where the coffee kissed the chrome. Said the sky was big enough to make a sinner feel at home. I read them by a window where the wheat bends like a prayer, counting miles on my knuckles like I'm sure you're counting there. You'd sketch the Palo Duro in a margin's dusty line, promised me a sunrise if I'd only cross state lines. You signed them Love Maria with a flourish like a flame, but between the ink and paper lived the thunder of your name. I heard a freight train sermon down on Route 207, swore if I could catch it, I'd buy us both a heaven. But time is stingy when your wallet wears a hole. I kept a job and Shawnee kept my hunger in my soul. You kept a room in Amarillo where the wind sings low and slow, and letters, Lord, kept coming like a jukebox glow. Postmark Amarillo, every stamp a dusty hymn, every line a roadside chapel where our chances grow dim. If the plains could fold the distance like a letter into two, I'd be knocking on your doorway with the dawn's first view. You told me about your daddy's boots and barbed wire hands, how he taught you to be brave and to understand the land. You wrote about a waitress job off I-40 side, where cowboys tip in quarters and the clouds hang low and sharp. I told you about my foreman, how he chews his hours thin, how a man can lose his name in the roaring of a winch. You wrote back, names are easy, love's the harder thing to hold. Come stand beneath this sky, it'll make your shadows go. One day your letters faltered like a radio in rain. 2 weeks, then 3 went silent like a lonesome boxcar chain. I walked to the mailbox with a prayer between my teeth, met nothing but a hollow like the dust beneath my feet. Then came a single envelope, the paper smelled like sun. You said a rodeo drifter had been making you come undone. He's kind beneath his swagger, but I'm scared of how I feel. Tell me, would you ever come and make this wanting real? Postmark Amarillo, every stamp a dusty hymn, every line a roadside chapel where our chances grow dim. If the plains could fold the distance like a letter into two, I'd be knocking on your doorway with the dawn's first view. I sold my toolbox on a Thursday, pawned my radio that night, packed my twine-tied stack of letters, hit the weekend for the flight. But planes felt too expensive for a dream that might be gone. So I borrowed wheels from Danny, and I chased that breaking dawn. Between the billboards and the feedlots, I rehearsed my trembling lines, past 1,000 nameless windmills like a rosary of signs. When the skyline bled to amber and the roadway turned to glow, I found your cafe window, saw your hands, and there I froze. Postmark Amarillo, now I'm standing in your hem, your eyes a summer thunder where my doubts all go dim. If the plains can fold our distance like a letter into two, then here beneath your sunrise I'll write my life with you. Yes, here beneath your sunrise I'll write my life with you.
They call it Copper Jack's, a barnwood hall of smoke and neon rain, where a Saturday can pardon you from 9 to 5 in pain. I wore my best excuse like polished boots and borrowed grin. You wore that summer dress that makes the jukebox spin. Your husband's on the graveyard shift, my sweetheart's out of town. And somewhere in the rattling lights our better angels drown. We poured a pair of long necks like a prayer, we planned a lie, and swore that every shuffle was a two-step alibi. The fiddle caught our guilty hearts and cinched them with a bow. Steel guitar confessed in bands the words we couldn't show. Your laugh was like a bell that made my promise come undone. I said I'd just escort you till the midnight's mercy won. We danced around the questions with a heel-toe slide and sway, pretending we were strangers who just met along the way. But every careful spin was carving circles in a truth, and every stomp on 2 and 4 shook years right off our youth. Give me one more two-step alibi under Copper Jack's forgiving sky. We'll tell the world we never kissed, just counted measures, never missed. If the band keeps playing, we won't try to name this sin we let slip by. Just another two-step alibi. The clock above the whiskey shelf crawled forward like a snake. Every second hissed a warning we pretended not to take. The singer tipped his hat and crooned a cheater's lullaby, while shadows did a tango in the corner of your eye. I said I had a pickup and a thermos full of lies. You said the night was pretty and the moon could sympathize. We stepped outside for air that tasted just like fire. where silence asked its question with a slow and steady wire. A passing truck threw gravel like a verdict at our feet. We stood like two defendants in a courthouse made of heat. Your phone lit up with snapshots of your kitchen sink and cat. My screen showed where you at, from a love I swore I had. We cleared our throats and laughed at things that weren't the jokes we told, then wandered back to Copper Jacks and all that country gold. We found the floor again as if the floor could turn back time, and laid our doubtful halos on a 4-beat dotted line. Give me one more two-step alibi under Copper Jack's forgiving sky. We'll tell the world we never kissed, just counted measures, never missed. If the band keeps playing, we won't try to name this sin we let slip by. Just another two-step alibi. The drummer dropped to brush his pedal steel, began to cry. The singer whispered, don't you let this good love pass you by. But good and love are knotted words when rings are on our hands, and staying true can sound off key beneath 1,000 bands. So hold me at a distance where a stranger's warmth can be, a place where guilt and comfort waltz in cautious harmony. When morning finds our footprints blown like secrets from this room, we'll blame the dust, the band, the beer, the borrowed Texas moon. Give me one last two-step alibi, let's leave it where the echoes lie. We'll swear that we were only kind to lonesome souls who killed some time. If hearts must pay, then let them sigh. We'll keep our promises alive inside that two-step alibi. Out on County 9 where the soybean meets the sky, there's a low-slung box of neon where the storm learns how to cry. Tin roof patched with license plates from states we'll never see, a jukebox older than the vows we made at 23. June heat stuck to water rings like names carved in a tree. The waitress called me darling like she'd always pity me. Lightning licked the gravel lot, the clouds rolled mean and gray, while Joey tuned his teller, swore he'd chase the dark away. I came to nurse an ache that didn't want to be my friend. A Tuesday turned to whiskey, turned to maybe this can mend. You sat beneath the chorus sign with your hair like summer rain, and one small smile made thunder sound like mercy on a chain. The ceiling fan went clack, 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 a poor man's metronome. The pool balls talked like prophets about leaving well enough alone. The owner taped the window seams and winked, we've seen much worse, then raised a shot to saints, a small town second chances and their curse. There's thunder on the tin roof tavern, God is drumming on the eaves. Every heart inside is aching like the wind through busted leaves. Let the pedal steel be lightning, let the fiddle call us brave.
'Cause thunder on the Tin Roof Tavern says the night can still be saved. A farmer in his Sunday boots confessed his fields were drowned. A nurse with raccoon mascara said her luck had run aground. A second shift mechanic counted dimes like rosary beads. A widow ordered Old Crow neat and said it's all a man needs. We didn't come for miracles, we came to share a roof where strangers trade their weather till their tempers turn to proof. I asked about that wedding band you spun around your thumb. You said I lost a home somewhere between the storm and sun. The first chord hit like creek bed rocks when floods are on the rise. The bass crawled up from floorboards, drums were rolling midnight skies. We two-stepped shoulder cautious like confessions under oath, close enough to hear the truth, far enough to save us both. The bartender killed the TV, said, listen to the rain, while rumors of a funnel cloud went dancing down the lane. The power blinked and everyone held breath like borrowed time. The band stayed true on muscle memory, groove and rhyme. There's thunder on the Tin Roof Tavern, God is drumming on the eaves. Every heart inside is aching like the wind through busted leaves. Let the pedal steel be lightning, let the fiddle call us brave. 'Cause thunder on the Tin Roof Tavern says the night can still be saved. When the lights went dark for real, the room became a prayer. Joey's teller rang unamplified, a ghost hung in the air. We sang I Saw the Light, half in tune, half in tears. You squeezed my hand in honesty I hadn't held in years. The roof took every hammer strike the heavens cared to give. A choir of dripping gutters told us how the poor still live. You whispered storms don't make us know, they show us what we are. And thunder rolled an amen like a diesel pulling far. There's thunder on the Tin Roof Tavern, but we're steady on our feet, dancing slow on borrowed kindness, trading warmth for weathered heat. Let that pedal steel be lightning, let the fiddle part the waves. With thunder on the Tin Roof Tavern, we remember we are brave. There's thunder on the Tin Roof Tavern, and tonight we all were saved. To catch June fireflies with your grandma's dented can, poke holes in the metal lid with a church key and a plan. You said the night could fit inside if we were still enough, that heaven pours its pockets out on kids who don't act tough. We'd sit behind the hay barn where the crickets chiseled time, count to 50, hold our breath and swear each glow was mine. Your laugh was like a jar lid when it finally sets in place, clicking shut on something pure we promised not to chase. Then work boots came and pay stubs and a 4 a.m. alarm, a ring from out of nowhere and a rental on the farm. I took a job in shipping, counting boxes, counting days. You took double at the diner, pouring coffee, pouring grace. We said we'd jar our starlights for the winter's lean and mean, save a shine for when the linoleum dulls more than we'd seen. The jars get used for pennies, coffee cans for nails, and starlight's hard to muster when your courage sometimes fails. Starlight in a coffee can, keep it close for when I'm tired, when the world turns heavy brown and the bright feels uninspired. Shake it like a lucky charm, let the holes breathe through the tin. Starlight in a coffee can, let the hope come back again. One night the boss called overtime. I missed your 4-song set. You learned if I needed you on a martini sour regret. I caught your show at closing as the mop cut through the floor, your voice a fragile lantern in a small town saddle sore. We drove out past the county line where asphalt turns to dust, parked beneath the quilt of night and all the stars we used to trust. You handed me that coffee can from way down in the trunk, taped up like a mystery and rattling like junk. You said I kept a bit of us. Don't laugh, I know it's small. Some ticket stubs, a paper star, a vow we wrote in fall. I twisted off the lid and felt the years like sudden rain. How love survives on talismans and hard-earned gentle pain inside 2 firefly wings that must have fallen long ago. A Polaroid of you and me, just drenched in greenish glow. We didn't need a miracle, we needed just that sound. 10 on 10, the memory click that says we're safe and found. Starlight in a coffee can, keep it close for when I'm tired, when the world turns heavy brown and the bright feels uninspired. Shake it like a lucky charm, let the holes breathe through the tin. Starlight in a coffee can, let the hope come back again. Someday the roof will need replacing, storms will write their names, the bank will sigh in decimal math and move its chessboard claims. But we've got constellations printed on a grocery bill, a map that only lovers read when everything is still. So set that can upon the sill where moonlight finds the scars. We'll watch it glow in borrowed light like promises and stars. And if the morning takes it all, our quiet, our demands, will punch new holes and name the night with shaking grateful hands. Starlight in a coffee can, let it flicker, let it spin. If the dark comes back again, we'll invite the dark right in, 'cause we've got sparks enough to share and the patience of the land. Starlight in a coffee can, love's a glow we understand. Yes, starlight in a coffee can. We are light, and we are hands.
I found them by the register, between jerky strips and maps. A bucket full of plastic sleeves and do like diner naps. Gas station roses, $7 or 2 for 10, wrapped in cellophane that crinkles like my heart did back then. I used to bring you garden blooms that smelled of June and choir. Now it's unleaded windshield wipes and coffee climbing higher. But love ain't made of pedigree or soil-rich country poses. It's last chance cash and shaky hands and gas station roses. You're working late at 2nd Street, the closing shift again, counting tips like parables, forgiving other men. I've got a dented quarter tank and windshield bugs for stars, a dashboard saint of luck that rides in dented cars. The clerk said buddy flowers like these saved my first divorce. I laughed and swiped, pretending I believed in that strange force. But somewhere under fluorescent hum and motor oil supposes, I started humming vows into those gas station roses. Gas station roses, cheap and brave, smelling like the life we saved. Not the garden, not the grand, just a tremble in the hand. Let the cellophane be rain, let the petals cover blame. Gas station roses, please compose a brand new start from what we chose. We used to chase the county fair and kiss behind the rides, trade promises like cotton candy blue with sin and ties. Then bills grew fangs and work grew cold and words grew thin as thread. We built a fort of silence round the lumps inside our bed. I told myself the moon would mend the mile between our hearts. The moon just watched like witness does and marked the moving parts. Tonight the sky is radio and static low and close. I practice saying sorry to a plastic wrapped red rose. Outside your diner's flicker sign, a moth burns for the light. I tuck my fears in jacket sleeves and try to be polite. You step out with your apron off and 6 more hours behind. A question sighs between us like a truck in second grind. I hand the flowers over like a soldier hands his name. And you don't smile at first, which feels like losing at my game. Then you inhale that paper scent, your eyes turn soft as prose, and something in your shoulders lifts this little fragile rose. Gas station roses, cheap and brave, smelling like the life we saved. Not the garden, not the grand, just a tremble in the hand. Let the cellophane be rain, let the petals cover blame. Gas station roses,
roses, please compose a brand new start from what we chose. We walk the block in quiet steps, your head upon my sleeve. The night is full of trucks that groan, of hopes that won't quite leave. You say I don't need roses, not the fancy, not the fine. I need your open voice at dawn and coffee that is mine. I say I can't rewrite the ways I let our weather sting, but I can learn a softer road, I can be the gentler thing. You touch the cellophane and grin, then let's not make it grand. A simple vow, be kind by night, be better by the land. Gas station roses, oh there's a line from busted plans to honest time. If tomorrow storms again, we'll meet it with a stay true grin. Not with the gardens, not with the shows, with small and sturdy, heaven knows. Gas station roses, thin but true, will bloom in borrowed light, me and you. Gas station roses, cheap and brave, tonight they are the love we save. The floorboards hum beneath the boots of every Friday ghost. It's closing time and nowhere town, the crowd's thinned out the most. Neon coughs in pink and green, the whiskey's running low. The jukebox by the cigarette machine hums soft and slow. I fished into my pocket for a coin I didn't know. One last nickel for a memory, one last tune to show. The barkeep wipes the counter down, the bar stools start to creak. I slide that coin like prayer beads in the rhythm of the week. There's lipstick ghosts on beer glass rims and laughter left in smoke. The chairs are stacked like promises we made but never spoke. A couple slow danced earlier till he stopped loving her today. Now they're gone, but George still lingers in the static fade away. I hit the letter, hit the number, B7 my old sin. A steel guitar-sized mercy, like a tired violin. A photograph behind the bar stares back like God forgives, of all the hearts that music broke but somehow still outlives. The last ticket at the jukebox, bought with change and borrowed time. It plays a song of second thoughts in an old three-quarter rhyme. If love's a coin, I've spent it twice. If hope's a flame, it flickers nice on the last ticket at the jukebox, for the ghost of Friday night. She used to sit right where I'm now, boots crossed at the heel, nursing one gin and tonic through whatever she could feel. We talk about the weather, maybe joke about the band, Pretend that happiness was just a trick, you understand. One night she said, you ever think the songs know who we are? I said, maybe that's why heartbreak always sounds like steel guitar. She laughed and tapped her straw against the glass like metronome, then vanished come September, left a note that said I'm gone. The jukebox stayed our witness, though I don't come much these days. The barkeep says he saw her once out on the interstate, married to a trucker now, 3 towns down the line. But every time this tune comes on, it feels like she's still mine. So I drop another nickel in, though prices doubled years, and every chorus pulls me through the rust of all my fears. The door sign flickers closed again, the rain begins to tap. I nod to that old photograph and tip my broken cap. The last ticket at the jukebox, bought with change and borrowed time. It plays a song of second thoughts in an old 3/4 rhyme. If love's a coin, I've spent it twice. If hope's a flame, it flickers nice on the last ticket at the jukebox for the ghost of Friday nights. You can't rewind a vinyl heart or skip the scratch and hiss, but music makes the ruins hum with something close to bliss. So I'll stay here until the dawn, till silence takes the cue, and let the jukebox whisper low, she still remembers you. The last ticket at the jukebox, where old regrets still sound brand new. It plays the love I lost, the truth I knew. If life's a bar we pay with ache, if dreams are songs they crack and break, the last ticket at the jukebox, I'll spend my soul for one more take.
There's a box up in the attic where the daylight never climbs, full of relics from a lifetime shaped by sweating county lines. A cracked old saddle blanket, some boots with heels worn thin, and Daddy's Stetson dusty gray with the sweatband caving in. I pull it down each autumn when the wheat fields turn to fire, brush off ghosts of diesel fumes and small town worn desire. The smell of old tobacco, leather rain and sun-baked earth, it fits my head like history, too heavy for my worth. He wore it at my birth, they said, while pacing hospital floors. He wore it through the drought of '89 and at the hardware store. Mama said he tipped it low the day the mortgage came due.
said, if this land don't break me first, I'll die before I'm through. And he did one August Sunday when the wheat was nearly gold. Left behind a rusted truck and a faith I couldn't hold. They laid him 'neath the cottonwood, the sky too proud to weep. And I swore I'd wear a Stetson, every promise that I keep. Dust on Daddy Stetson, time on calloused hand, love in busted knuckle, faith in fallow lands. He said, boy, a hat ain't crown nor curse, it's just the miles you've rode reverse. Now there's dust on Daddy Stetson, and I'm still learning what that means. I wore it to my wedding, felt the brim brushed back my tears. Mama whispered he'd be proud, you're standing strong through years. The preacher spoke of covenant, the fiddle played sweet dreams, and every vow I said was dust and leather at the seams. We built a little trailer house where wind forgets to rest, raised 2 kids on beans and grace and overdraft at best. Some days I feel him near me when I'm scraping mud and sky. His hat hangs on the nail that marks the days I just get by. My oldest took to drawing horses, wild and blue and free. Asked me once if Grandpa rode before we had TV. I said he rode the hardest thing, the worry of the day. But he held his reins with kindness, and he never looked away. Then one night by the porch light, when the thunder smelled like wheat, I set that hat upon my boy's small head and said, repeat. This ain't for swagger, pride, or fame, but for the work you start. It's the shape of all you're trying, it's the armor of your heart. Dust on Daddy Stetson, time on calloused hands, love in busted knuckles, faith in fallow lands. He said, boy, a hat ain't crown nor curse, it's just the miles you've rode reverse. Now there's dust on Daddy Stetson, and I'm still learning what that means. One day when I'm the ghost upstairs and time's gone thin and lean, they'll find that hat where I once dreamed and wonder where I'd been. They'll hold it like a question mark that smells of sweat and pine, and maybe they'll remember me through brim and dust and line. Dust on Daddy Stetson, and now it rests on mine, holding up a story that never did resign. A son's become his echo, a man's become his means. Dust on Daddy Stetson, I know now what it means. Yeah, dust on Daddy Stetson, I know just what it means.
where city dust meets prairie breath. A boy named Cole was born to test his death. Mama cleaned rooms off Highway 9. Daddy roped dreams across state lines. He learned to spin that rope and light, practice truth in a barroom fight. The Bronx got mean, the miles got long. The neon signs replaced the song. Every rodeo he rode to stay alive. He found his faith in buckle drives. Crowds would cheer, the gate would swing, and danger danced like a silver string. One night in Tulsa, lightning's grin, he missed his mark, the bull stayed in. Fell hard but got back up to grin, said you can't break what's born for sin. Neon Lariat spinning around my fate, glowing like salvation at the midnight gate. I ain't roping cattle, I'm roping ghosts, chasing all the things I miss the most. Every loop's a prayer, every pull's a debt. Swing me home, my neon Lariat. He met her at a county fair. Her hair caught smoke, her eyes caught dare. She sold belt buckles, turquoise charms. He said, darling, you could save my arm. She laughed, I ain't your savior kind. He said, you're the rope I hope to find. They danced till lamps blew out the lights. Her perfume tangled in his nights. Months turned like wagon wheels through sand. He missed her face, her steady hand. His wallet held her picture tight. Each payday he would kiss it right. Then Vegas called a rodeo of fame. He chased the crown, she cursed his name. The bull broke bones, the crowd went mad, but silence won. The fall was bad. Neon Lariat spinning round my fate, glowing like salvation at the midnight gate. I ain't roping cattle, I'm roping ghosts, chasing all the things I miss the most. Every loop's a prayer, every pull's a debt. Swing me home, my neon Lariat. Now he works the night shift, sweeping floors under flickering signs and sliding doors. But on Fridays when the jukebox hums, he hears the clatter of spurs and drums. He takes a rope still glowing blue, spins it slow like dreams come true, and whispers, girl, wherever you sit, I'll find you with my neon Lariat. Neon Lariat, still swinging wide, tying hearts the dark can't hide. Every light along this strip's a scar, but I know who you are. Every loop's a promise, every pull's regret. Swing me home, my neon Lariat. Yeah, swing me home, my neon Lariat. They bloom along the shoulder where the highway finds its grace. A quilt of small blue lanterns lighting up a lonesome place. You said if hope has colors, it's the color of this sky. And tucked one in your hair like some Bluebonnet Alibi. We'd skip the rent on Fridays, ride the river like a dare, Count turtles on the driftwood and the storms behind you stare. Your mama said I wasn't much, your daddy said the same, but the flowers didn't judge us and the wind forgot our names. We kept a map of Texas on the dash with coffee stains, circled towns we'd never see, and traced imaginary trains. You packed a thrift store camera and a bag of tangerines. I brought a busted radio and half-remembered dreams. At dusk the hill country turned to purple, then to wine. The air grew soft as whispers that could make a sinner kind. You told me secrets folded small like notes in Sunday shoes, and I promised not to lose them the way poor boys tend to lose. We pulled off near a pasture where the cattle watched like saints, and laid a blanket by the fence to heal what trouble paints. The highway sang a baritone of tires and second thoughts, but your laughter made a chorus out of things I never bought. We talked of rings and double wides and kitchen table prayers, of how we'd turn the landlord's glare into 2 rocking chairs. Then moonlight lit the lupine like 1,000 tiny fires, and for a breath the world forgave our debts and our desires. Bluebonnet Alibi, cover us in midnight dive. If the world comes asking why, say we only stopped to try. Let the petals kiss our names, let the river drown our blame. Bluebonnet Alibi, turn our trouble into flame. Next week the boss cut hours, I wore holes in borrowed pride. You stitched your apron tighter, learned to put your tears aside. A letter came from county court that sounded like a threat. I kept it in my glove box like a sin I can't forget. The landlord pounded Saturday and thundered at our door. Said grace was on a timer and the timer wanted more. We took the back road out of town, through cedar, dust and light, with flowers nodding yes to every maybe in our sight. At the picnic spot where once we'd sworn to change our names, we spread that old red blanket like a truce between our shames. You pulled a ring from bubble gum, a joke with beaten wings. Said we could make a chapel out of such unlikely things. I laughed until I didn't, then I held you like a field, and love, that mean old outlaw, took a knee and nearly kneeled. We wrote a vow in syrup from the tangerines we split, sticky as a truth that keeps the drifting heart well fit. Bluebonnet Alibi, cover us in midnight dive. If the world comes asking why, say we only stopped to try. Let the petals kiss our names, let the river